Hey, welcome back to the Transparent HR podcast, where we aim to empower individuals with transparent HR insight, fostering career opportunities, and navigating workplace success for all. It's your host, Prince Tate, and you are listening to the 8th episode of this podcast. Today, I'm asking you to share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. We want to bring more awareness of this podcast because we have a lot of great insights that you should know about your career. Not only that, you get some great advice from HR professionals that come on the show. Joining us today is Martez Higgins. With over a decade of experience in managing HR functions across diverse industries, he's passionate about creating positive work environments, optimizing processes, and driving organizational success through innovative HR strategies. Welcome to the show, Martez. How is it going?
It's going well. First of all, thank you so much for having me. With an introduction like that, I can't wait to see what's going to happen on this episode today.
Man, I'm super excited that you're on the episode with us. A lot of people don't know this, but you and I, we know each other and we grew up in the church together.
We absolutely did. I've known Daniel for a very long time. I'm talking about maybe 12 years now.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a very true fact. We grew up in church together.
Yeah,
pleasure
absolutely.
knowing you, Daniel.
Hey, look, you just graduated. Tell us all about that.
Man, I just graduated last week with my bachelor's, and I have already enrolled to go and finish my master's.
Already?
I have about a 2-week break, and I'm back on the grind.
Hey, you pushing.
Navigating a degree or degree programs, period, doesn't matter which one, all while working in corporate America can be a task, but you persevere, you got to do it.
Yeah. Look, I'm in that phase right now. Like I'm dreading to go back to school just because I've been out for a minute. But my wife, she's currently enrolled in her master's program. And I told her, I said, look, once you get finished, I'll be next.
It's your turn.
I'll be next. So
you got this, man. You know that.
I appreciate it. What I want to do is go into our career quote. Today's career quote says, success is built by effort. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Believe it or not, a lot of people believe that, or they only see when people are successful or when they make it big, but they never really see the day ins and the day outs of what they're doing to create success or even to allow success to come near them. And so, believe it or not, you have to be consistent with what you're doing. Just like you just graduated college, there had to be some consistency there with you putting in the work, even when no one saw it. So what do you think about this quote?
Personally, you said it best. I believe that people see the fruition of success and that's what they go after. But if you do not look at the journey that got a person to their success, you won't endure. You have to understand that there are very small steps. Say, for instance, being in school. Before I could accomplish the degree program, I had to answer the discussion questions. And those discussion questions got on my nerves. I don't understand why this is necessary. And in my mind, that's what I'm like, why is this necessary? Why do I have to respond to a classmate? All of that is a part of the journey. You see the fruition of it, but you have to be willing to ride or die for a success. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I believe that quote is very true. It's a true testament. It's very small efforts. You say you ever hear the quote? They say you take 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. That's going to happen a whole lot, or at least you will feel that way. But the main key to success is perseverance. You got to keep going no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that over time, those small efforts will compound into extraordinary results. And again, that's what people see in success. They don't see all of those small things or those hidden things that you have to do each and every day. So thank you so much for your thoughts on this topic.
Absolutely.
Today, we're diving into a topic that I believe shapes careers and sparks plenty of debates regarding mentors versus solo success. And so, I believe you are a great person to really talk about and just allow us to have this conversation to help those out there who's thinking about, like, should I get a mentor or should I do this thing on my own?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this as it relates to professional development. I know a lot of times people think about professional development is going to school, going to webinars and doing research and understanding, if you're in HR, understanding new laws that come about. But a lot of people don't really think about, from a professional development standpoint, that having a mentor is going to be key to your success. So
Yes.
tell me, in your own thoughts, your own words, how does mentorship relate to professional development?
I think they're both hand in hand. I believe, like you said, people
Hmm.
believe that professional development is a degree or it's schooling or it's textbook. And that may be true. I believe that is a very small portion of your professional development. And a lot of
Hmm.
people may not agree with me there, but it really is. Because if you look at like corporate companies, they care that you have a degree. They really
Right,
do.
right.
But if you have that degree and you don't have experience, they're probably not going to pull your application because you can't get fully developed while you're in school. And here's why. You are learning the tools and creating the knowledge that you need to know how to operate in those spaces. But in terms of learning the job, that only happens with hands-on experience.
Hands-on
And if
experience.
you do not have that hands-on experience, you won't know. Hence the reason whatever industry you're in, it could be HR, it could be transportation, it could be anything. Whatever industry you're in, you need a mentor.
Yeah.
That person is someone who has been in this industry probably tons of years, who knows, and they're really good at their job. So I believe that hands-on experience is what your professional development really is. It's
Right,
not a textbook.
right. And even as it relates to having a mentor, because I believe that you can have a mentor, but if you don't really listen or take their advice or their wisdom, then you're really wasting people's time.
You are wasting your time. And one thing about it, time is something that we do not get back. Every second, you need to make it count. And I will tell you, you've known me for a very long time. I'm a pretty rebellious one. And my mom has had to snatch me by my collar a few times. My mentor has to do the same
Hmm.
sometimes because I'm not a fly by night person. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to woo me over. It has to make sense for me in order for me to apply those processes and procedures that you're giving me, right? And you talk
Mhm.
about being at odds with a mentor. There will be times where you will not understand why your mentor said,
Why they're saying
handle the situation this way, when in actuality, you think you know what's best for you. So it's like,
true. So
I
let
don't
me
think I should do that.
but let me ask you this question before you get deep
Because
into it.
you feel it, right? You feel it.
I feel it coming, right? So what are the biggest advantages of having a mentor compared to navigating your career solo or by yourself?
I'll put it like this, and it's a figure of speech. I look at having a mentor just like having a GPS.
Mm.
And I look at
Oh,
solo
wow.
success like physically following those roadmaps that you get from the gas station.
Mhm.
You will get lost. And that
Mm.
is the biggest advantage of all. When you put in an
Ooh.
address into your GPS, you get in your car, you know where you're going regardless of what happens. And then the crazy part about it is the GPS tells you there's a speed check, there's
Yep,
an
yep.
accident, there's an object in the road. That analogy alone sums it up for me.
Man, I
My
love it.
mentor is my GPS. I call him for everything. He will tell you. I think it's necessary. If you decide to take the solo route, put your glasses on and get ready
Mhm.
to weather the storm alone. But why do you have to do that? You don't.
Right.
You can choose a mentor.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I really love that analogy, having that GPS. But hey, check this out, though. Not a lot of people in this generation would probably ever saw a physical map.
I know.
you
I
know.
told our age.
But
Do
I
you remember
remember,
MapQuest?
yes, I remember MapQuest. I remember it. But look, I remember we were going to one of the conventions. I don't know where it was, Minnesota or somewhere.
Yeah.
And we lived in California at that time. And my dad had a physical map. I was like, what is he doing?
We're
We
never
gonna
going to make it. We're never
we
going to make it.
right. And we were driving all the way from California and we were doing it for the adventure. And boy, it was a good time. We had a good time. But I was so scared he was gonna get lost. I mean
But you
but
know, it's funny that you say that. Like you said it was full of adventure. I'm glad that you
oh
brought
yeah.
that up because I don't want you to believe that you won't get anywhere if you choose the solo success route, right? I don't want to mentor. I want to do it by myself. The only thing I'm saying is while you guys were on that trip, you probably took a wrong turn. You
Right.
probably ran into a road that was closed. You will experience those obstacles, but you will still make it. You
You'll still
just
make
have
it.
to find your way. That's
Yeah.
the only thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I really love that analogy. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna put it in my back pocket
You
and
should. You
and I'm
should.
gonna be sharing that with my mentees,
As you should.
in their career journeys. So can someone achieve the same level of success without a mentor? And I know you kind of talked about that a little bit, but I want to
Yeah.
dive a little bit more. And what does it take to do so if you decide to go solo?
I believe that you can achieve whatever you put your heart out to do, whether there is a mentor or not, whether you choose the route or you decide to do it solo. Because
Yeah.
if you, in actuality, people don't always have the access to mentors. You could be working for a company and
Hmm.
leadership sucks. God forbid. I pray that's not your testimony. But I'm just saying, like, nobody's worthy of leading you to where you're trying to go. So you're forced to do it by yourself, or you make changes to do whatever it is you want to do. I believe that
Hmm.
you can do it. I believe that it takes perseverance.
Okay.
I believe that it takes a strong willpower.
Yeah.
Your mental health has to be at an all-time high because if you are not well mentally,
Mhm.
you are already failing. If your mind is not taken care of, you won't be conscious and sober enough to navigate it on your own. It's already difficult trying to navigate this thing with a mentor.
Oh
And
yeah.
imagine if your mental health is out of whack. Like, I'm not taking care of my mind. So, of course, I'm not going to be able to take care of my responsibilities. But perseverance, taking care of your mental health, and I'm going to tell you something, work-life balance is key. You need those moments where you can unplug and you don't focus on what you're trying to do. You're not focusing on any goals. You are literally just doing what you
Hmm.
want to do. It could be binge watching TV. There are moments I lay in my bed and I binge watch an entire series for days at a time, but I need that moment or I need those moments to unplug from what I'm currently doing. So yes, you need perseverance and you need to take care of your mental health and
Hmm.
create some sort of work-life balance to where
Hmm.
you're not always focusing on the
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. So you can go solo, and a lot of people can be successful going solo.
Yeah.
But to the point you made earlier, why do it alone? So this leads me to my next question: how do you get a mentor? Do
Great
they just
question.
do they just magically appear? Say, hey, I want to mentor you, or do you have to go out and find one?
That is a great question. I think it's twofold.
Okay.
You can get a mentor and they see the potential in you and it's like, hey, I want to mentor you. I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing, and I believe
Mm,
personally that I can help you get to the next level. In today's time, that is not the typical way that it's done. In past times, it's been that way. But
okay.
in this society where we're millennials, Gen Zs, like we're in a totally different era, right? It's completely different. So there may be reason for you to go and seek a mentor. This is someone that you've seen in action, someone you've seen produce
Hmm.
actionable results, someone you admire And I don't think you should just go to that person and say, I want you to be my mentor. My main suggestion is start spending time with them, approach it differently. Say, hey, I see how you handled that situation. I just want to sit in on meetings or be a part of your team's calls, or I want to spend some quality one-on-one time with you to understand your processes and procedures. And the whole time, people are more prone to do that because it's less work. And then once they see that you're interested, it just kind of falls in place. But when
Naturally
you lead with, you're my mentor, that's so evasive.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. I recently have acquired a new mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, it was amazing how it happened. I was at a conference and I came in like, hey, you know what? I'm looking for a mentor.
Yeah.
I'm looking, and I was very specific. I'm looking for a male African American mentor.
Yeah.
Because I've had several mentors. I have several mentors in different areas of my life, spiritually, educationally,
You're a smart man.
you know, life-wise, you know, just in almost every area. Now I need a finance mentor as well. So if you find somebody, let me know.
I actually have a recommendation for you that I'll text to you.
Hey, send it to me. But I was specifically looking for a mentor in HR, someone who's going to be able to help me to, you know, navigate this thing called life, but also in my career, in my profession.
Yeah.
And met this guy, and we were just talking, having a conversation. Left, saw him again, having continual conversations to the point where he said, hey, let's stay connected. I think you have a bright future.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I connected with him about a month later after the conference, and I reached out to him. We had a conversation. And towards the end of that conversation, I asked him, I said, hey, would it be too much to ask if you could be my mentor? And he said, look, I would love it. I would love it. And so that's how I got a mentor. And, you know, it's different. Like I said, I have several mentors, other mentors that have come up to me and just naturally taken me on.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have to think whatever you are thinking of or trying to focus on, that is what you will attract. And because I was intentionally going in trying to find a mentor. Now, I didn't ask him, hey, can you be my mentor on the first conversation? And that's
walk right up to him. You're my mentor.
Yeah, right. And, you know, it's like, I don't even know you.
But you know what, Daniel? I don't want to cut you off, but you said something that was very good. You studied this person based off of a list of criteria that you were seeking.
Right.
I think that people want people to mentor them based off of stuff, accomplishments they've made.
Their accomplishments.
And that's where we go wrong. My mentor is not someone who is a notable individual. This person in HR is someone who is excellent at her work. And she's not received an award, or she's not been on SHRM stages, or she's not been keynote speakers in places. She is just a general in HR who knows what she's doing. And your mentor will not always look like this glorious figure. They may not have all of the 50,000 connections on LinkedIn, or they may not have a podcast. It's whatever it looks like for what you need. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. I'm sorry.
No, I think that was a great point, because a lot of people think my mentor needs to be someone who has the light shined on them. And that is not always the case. You have some great individuals in your organization, out of your organization, who are really great, credible people that has lived it, have been through a lot of things, and they can give you practical advice. Now, let me ask you this, because I have a strong opinion on this question.
Okay.
But I want to see what your mindset is. So, do you think individuals should have mentors in their organization where they currently work at? Or do you think individuals should seek mentors outside of their organization?
I think it would be ideal for you to have a mentor within your organization. But I do understand, like I said, in the society that we're currently in, there may not be one in your organization. Transparently, I thought my mentor was going to be my direct leader. And I put
Mm-hmm.
myself through a lot of turmoil when I wasn't receiving the mentorship qualities from her.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take a step back and reevaluate it I look at things in perspectives. I take mine and I take yours. I
Mm-hmm.
put them together and I consider them both. Okay. From my aspect, this is what I was seeking from my direct leader. From
Yeah.
her aspect, she just wants to come in, lead her team, and go home. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to have,
Yeah.
this is my thought now. This is not something that she's physically said to me, but this is what
Right.
I gathered over
And
time.
you observe those things,
You
right?
observe, you can tell when somebody doesn't want to do something.
Martez,
So go ahead.
can I tell you this? And this is my opinion. I'm being transparent right now.
This is the Transparent HR podcast.
And in full honesty, and this is just my experience and in my opinion, I don't think your boss, your direct leader, should ever be your mentor. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
Because they are not there to mentor you, they're there to coach you so that you can perform
Yeah.
with the best of the abilities that you can.
Yeah.
Um, if you look at your boss as a mentor, and I'm not saying that it could never happen, but
Right.
my advice would be don't have that perception that your boss is your mentor, because they are the ones that's going to help promote you or demote you. And so you don't want to come being transparent about how your day is going, being transparent about the client groups that you're supporting, your peers, because they're going to look at it as, they're complaining, they're negative, and it's not going to turn out good. And that's just my opinion about it.
You know what? I have that exact same opinion, because before I thought my direct leader was going to be my mentor, I was kind of operating as such. She's an experienced HR leader, so I just assumed, okay, she has in her what I need
Yeah.
to go to my next level within this company specifically. So I'm going to look at her like she's my mentor. And to your point, one day I went to her griping about a stakeholder in the company, and this person had me, it was under my skin. And from that day forward, she's labeled me as an emotional individual. You lead with emotions. And it's like, they tell you don't lead with your heart, but you have no choice. If you are passionate about what you're doing, HR is a passion for me. I thrive on providing resources to humans. I'm not just here to prevent risk, right?
That's
this
true.
is my life, right? And since that day, like, I've been labeled as an emotional leader. It's something that I've had to wear on my shoulder, but you make good points there.
No, I think you're just passionate, and there's a difference from just getting the job done versus, also being passionate, because I think you could be passionate but also be effective.
Yes.
And you use that you use your emotions to make good decisions that's going to help both the organization, but as well the team members. And a lot of times it's because you understand where blue collar workers come from.
Yeah.
You understand, the situations that they go through in just day to day, right? And so, no, I think that there has to be a balance. But again, at the end of the day, your leader should not be your mentor. They should be your coach, and they coach you on your performance, so you can grow, and so you could grow within the organization as well, and not just only in your career, but overall, they can help you to get the skills that you need, and even the internal politics of the organization, they can help you navigate those things, right? But
they should. It is not always a situation where you have that.
That's true.
And I don't want us to set up the viewers to believe like, oh, you're going to have that. There will be cases when your manager is so far removed from a situation.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another famous podcaster that she talks about this all the time. Like, if they don't care about it, you don't need to be caring about it. I just don't want to put myself in those vulnerable spaces where it's like, this person is going to help me and is going to propel me just because she's my leader and she knows what I'm capable of, and I received the total opposite. And you told me to be real, so that's what I want to do. This is the Transparent HR podcast. You may not get what we've gotten in most cases.
That's true. And you have to kind of feel your leader. You
Yeah.
have to understand, if especially when you go through your interviews, you have to ask them those questions. Are you going to be able to be a coach? Because some of them won't be a coach. Some of them just want you to do the job. They hire you to do the
Can I
job.
tell you something? A lot of them don't know how.
Ooh, that's
Because,
true.
and I look at it like a generational thing. It's almost like us. We are the way we are because of our parents. Okay. And they taught us what we know, right? And then as you get older, you kind of stray away from some of the things that you come to know yourself. Okay. 100%. As leaders, they only know what they're taught. And
Hmm.
considering that most of our leaders are of different generations, they don't
Hmm.
have the same mindsets like I help you, you help me. They don't have that. They
Hmm.
may have it as this is how it's always been done, and this is what's most efficient.
Hmm.
Whereas as a millennial, we are innovative in our thinking. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we could do this, but we could do it better.
Yep.
We could streamline this process to do A, B, C, and D. And a lot of our leaders are not receptive to that type of feedback. I believe that a mentor and mentee relationship should be a dual project.
Hmm.
I should be challenging the way my mentor thinks about it. I want to challenge your perspective too. Everybody don't see it that
Yeah.
way. I'm just the type of person. I'm not a yes man. So I'm not just gonna say okay and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally understand. I totally understand. So, last question. For those who are looking for a mentor, what would be some advice that you would share with them, especially if they're looking for one inside of their organization? And again, they're not looking at their leader, but maybe someone else in the organization that may have some great influence. What would be some advice that you would give to our listeners to say how to approach them and to, maybe ask or find a mentor within their organization?
I think the very first piece of it is you need to do a self-assessment. You
Mm,
need to be aware of what it is exactly you are looking for.
what
And
you're
in
looking
that
for.
self-assessment, you've assessed who you are, what you do, and
Hmm.
where you're trying to go. And those three things will help you identify someone, whether it's within or without, or outside of your organization.
Yeah.
It will help you identify, and you're looking for someone who has some of the same qualities. They've probably made some of the same accomplishments. They're probably alone or aligned with the same path that you are on. I think that the main thing is do not rush it. You may
Mm,
not find a
good.
mentor in 24 hours.
Yeah.
You may not find a mentor in a year.
Yeah.
I've been at my company going on 3 years, and I am just now solidifying an individual who is in my company that operates in the same function as myself,
Hmm.
who I see as a mentor. And I haven't physically asked her, will you be my mentor? We've operated as a mentor mentee since we met.
Yeah.
She doesn't know this. I don't want to make it awkward. I don't want to
Right,
ruin
right.
it. I just want to continue gleaning and receiving that knowledge and interaction from her. But
Right.
yes, self assess. What am I looking for in a mentor?
Mhm.
Am I looking for someone who's just like me? Am I looking for someone who's the total opposite? I'm type A personality. I don't know that I can survive with a mentor who is a type A personality as well. Or maybe I can. I
Yeah.
need somebody who can keep me on my P's and Q's. I need someone who has a challenging thought or perspective because that little baby, I'm not a baby in my mind. So the little surface level conversation won't work for me. We need
Mhm.
to deep dive and feed
Mm.
off of each other, right? But I think that's the main thing, knowing what you're looking for and
Yeah.
not rushing it. Mentors are key in your
Mhm.
life,
Yeah.
and you don't want to find the wrong mentor. I've had the wrong mentor, and
Mm.
they were leading my life
I've as
based
well.
off of how they saw fit
Yeah.
what worked for them. And in a case, mentors are supposed to do that. They are supposed to give you
Yeah.
advice based off of situations and how they panned out for them. But also at the same time, if your mentor is 30 years older than you, it may be very difficult because the world is constantly
Mhm.
evolving.
Yeah.
So you need to get a mentor that's innovative in their thinking as well.
Yeah.
But patience is the key. Be
Patience is the
patient.
key.
Do not rush it. Don't beat yourself up if you're on a solo journey right now,
Oh yeah.
because more people are operating solo than they are with a mentor, because they don't even know how to initiate this conversation,
You're right.
or they may not even know that they need a mentor.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's why I say the self-assessment is the biggest piece of it, because, hey,
Yeah.
if you've already accomplished a large portion of your goals, is a mentor necessary for
Right.
what you're trying to do now? I think in everything you need a mentor. I'm with you, Daniel, Prince. I'm so sorry. In every aspect of my life, I have a mentor. As a spiritual mentor, I have one in my business. I have one in my I have a therapist in my personal life, and
Yeah.
people. There may be a different name for it. You're getting
Yeah.
mentorship, but it
Yeah.
may not be a mentor-mentee relationship. You just have to find those mentorship moments in everything that you
Yeah.
do, because we look at it like, oh, my mentor is someone I talk to every day. This person you may not speak to every day, and
That's true.
especially if it's someone who's famous, or you choose someone who has, like I said, the 500,000 connections on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. They very seldom have time to sit on the phone and
Oh,
guide you through
absolutely.
your personal life. But
Absolutely.
maybe it's something that they've said. You're watching their podcast, wink, wink. You're doing research on YouTube. Like, this moment that we're giving right now is mentorship.
Oh
We
yeah.
don't look at it like that, or we may not call it that, but you can find mentorship in anything,
Yeah.
and it's called a lesson.
So let me share a couple things before we get out today, because
Okay.
we're at time.
Oh man, it's
So
getting so good.
I'll say this: if you're looking for a mentor within your organization, be cognizant.
Yeah.
Because there may be some, especially if they have a program, be cognizant. And I say that because I previously had a mentor within my organization, and he went back and shared some information with my leader.
Oh my God.
And so, I got burned from that. But it was a lesson that I've learned. You got to be cognizant. Focus. If you have a mentor within the organization, focus on things that's going to help you. You have to separate what may be a personal thing or a emotional thing that you went through in your career or in your workplace, and you have to turn it and say, hey, how can I use this experience to get me to the next level?
Yeah.
Those mentors that's within your organization, they can help you navigate
Yeah.
in certain instances in your career. And then number two, if you be those individuals that are accessible, they should be able to spend time with you, pick up the phone call. They should be transparent with you.
Yeah.
But also they should be confidential. They shouldn't be one who's sharing your information with other individuals. It should be one that's going to keep it confidential and ensure that what you're sharing is going to be kept in secret. So thank you, Martez, for your insights on today's episode. I need to bring you back.
Because I got a lot to talk about, Dave.
So I'm gonna bring you back. But before we head out, I want to share an encouraging Bible verse. It comes from Proverbs 14:23. It says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. When I think about this scripture, I think about how individuals always talk about what they're going to do, their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, but then you never actually see them do it. You can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. You've got to take that leap of faith and say, hey, I'm going to get started on my dream. If your dream is to get a house, a 2-story house, you have to start working on it today so you can get that house. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next year, but you want to put things into perspective and you want to start working on it so you can achieve that goal, so you can receive a profit from it. Martez, any insights on this?
We do a lot of talking. And one thing we don't do well is put the action behind the conversation. And I'm one of those people. Transparently,
we've all been in that place.
I've said time after time, this is a goal this is something that I want to do, and it turns out to just be that. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you what humbled me, and I know we're on our way out of the door. I had an idea, and I did not act on it. And 7 months later, I looked online and
Somebody
someone
else did it.
else produced my idea.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment, and right now this person is a multi-millionaire from this exact same idea. I told my brother I had a concept for something, and he's like, oh, you should do it. You know what I did? I sat on it. 7 months later, God brought it right back to my face. And I'm going to tell you something. You said it yourself. You got to be about what you say. That is in life. That's a principle that I stand on in my life. Your word is your bond. Say what you mean what you say, and do it. Don't be afraid. What's the worst thing that can happen? If you fail, you can pick yourself up and do it again. But if you don't do it, you won't know what will happen. Yeah. Just do it. Be about it.
That's why
be a ride or die for yourself. We be out here riding and dying for everybody else. That's my homeboy. That's my homegirl. You out here at your friend's table selling weave and selling cookies and cakes and pies for your friend, but what are you doing for yourself?
Right.
And I'm not saying don't support your people. Support your people, but support you first.
I love that. Thank you so much, Martez. Hey, we're going to head out here today, but
it's been a joy.
If you are listening to the Transparent HR podcast, I want you to just hang on tight because we're going to be doing some really great things in 2025. If you're listening to this, hey, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Also, send in questions that you have for the Transparent HR podcast. Maybe there was something that you were listening today and you're like, I got a question. Send it to us and we'll be glad to answer your questions and even give you some advice as well. But hey, happy holidays to each and every one, and we'll see you on the next episode.